AstroDetectives. This is the show where we try to match our guests to their correct astrological birth chart. As always, we have two charts to choose from, and today our guest is either a Scorpio or a Pisces. I'm Scott, a skeptic of astrology, and I'm joined by my co-host and professional astrologer, Sarah Hartshorn. Sarah, what's the difference between these two?
What's the difference between Scorpio and Pisces?
I mean, they couldn't be more different, right? Is this like... That's how we're doing. That's how Mike's Chartifier works. Is he's given us polar opposites.
I wouldn't say call these two charts polar opposites, but I definitely, have some differences to work with. But yeah, today we have a Scorpio and a Pisces. And interestingly, they're both double, like they both have their sun and moon in the same sign. So we've got a double Scorpio and a double Pisces. And so both of those signs are water signs. And water is, so they have that in common. Water is dealing with the emotional and in world of emotions, intuitions, feelings, things like that. And but they handle those in different ways. Scorpio is ruled by Mars, so it's a lot more about passion and intensity with emotions. And Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, so it's a little bit more plugged into the spirituality and intuition and growth and expansion side of water. So, yes, Scorpio is very about depth, intensity, power, control, and Pisces is really about spirituality, altruism, and being able to just integrate details into a large picture.
Interesting. Okay. I guess the power and control, I always thought of like Capricorn, but we got a lot of that in Scorpio too. It's just different a little bit. And we don't have to, we don't have a Capricorn that we have to break down. But what we do like to do is kind of those two energies. Where do we find those in our life? Like, where are we being the most Scorpio and where are we being the most Pisces? Sarah, does anything jump to mind for you?
Well, I definitely relate to Scorpio because I have my moon in Scorpio. But, Scorpio is very like intense and passionate. And I, the moon being your inner world, I feel that I really relate to Scorpio energy. Like I feel like a very
Like,
passionate and
is there like
intense
one
person.
thing in particular, like when you're doing this activity or when you're focused on this, you're like totally, you're feeling that Scorpio energy?
I relate to it more so in the sense of wanting to be in control of my emotions. I feel them very passionately and intensely. I would say I like, to listen to music that's very passionate and intense. When we did those music playlists, I really loved doing the Scorpio one because it's very, um, you know, sensual and sexy music.
And that was Taurus for me. I was throwing Kenny G on Taurus. And then to me, that was sensual, sexy time. But when I feel like I'm a Scorpio the most is it dawned on me when it was like intense and sometimes feeling emotion. And I've heard Scorpios described as when they're in attack mode, they're like a sniper. They just go in like very hard and very specific to take someone out. And that's me in the comments section if I'm in a debate with someone. Like, that's why I'm not on Facebook anymore, is because I would get obsessed with if someone said something incorrect, like I just dive in with these very pointed, not attacks, but just very calculated, but coming from a place of like emotion that I can't just exit the conversation. I need to. So to me, Facebook comment section, that's where I feel my Scorpio energy start to rise. What about
Yeah.
Pisces for you?
Well, Pisces are very creative and artsy, and I definitely grew up very much into photography, the film world, just like naturally drawn to the arts. I have my South Node in Pisces. So it definitely was, how I just started out. Um, but yeah, so I like connecting to that creative energy.
I would say astrology. The fact that I do a podcast that investigate, well, I don't know the investigative part of astrology. I'll get in conversations about like what is time, and that's when I feel like I'm in a Pisces state. Like, what does it even mean? Where are we? Who are we? Um, if I when I came back from my 7 day silent meditation retreat, I was probably had some Pisces energy going on, just like
Hmm. Feeling the vibes.
yeah, I was vibing out up there in Big Bear. Anyway, so those are the two sun signs. Obviously, astrologers want to know a little bit deeper, a little bit more information on these charts. Where can they grab them, and what's going on deeper in these charts?
These charts are available at astrodetectivespod.com, and you can grab them in either whole sign or placidus. And if you actually want to cast them a different way or look into the transits or progressions and sign up for our Patreon, we will give you the full charts and you can, yeah, plug and play. But just for our listeners, just to let you know what the big three of these two charts are, we've got a double Scorpio with a Libra ascendant ruled by Venus in Virgo. And then we have a double Pisces with a Cancer ascendant ruled by that moon in Pisces. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk to our guest and see if we get some Scorpio or Pisces coming across.
And hopefully, you guys have the charts at home. Look them up, and we'll be back with our guest right after this. Hey, listeners, we're not just a podcast that tests astrology, we're an independent detective agency. That means we rely on you to help us keep the show running.
Exactly. By joining Astro Detectives on Patreon, you can support our mission to finally prove astrology is real.
Or, completely debunk it.
Here we go again.
One thing we can agree on, Astro Detectives is the only place you'll find astrologers and skeptics working together, like a buddy cop movie you didn't know you needed.
And trust me, detective work takes time, gathering evidence, late night stakeouts, solving cases, especially when Mercury's retrograde.
Okay, you can't blame Mercury.
The first step is easy and free. Just follow Astro Detectives on Patreon to get access to our debrief episodes where the conversation continues after each case ends. We break down what went right and what went wrong.
And if you want to fast track your training, become a rookie detective for only $3 a month. You'll unlock exclusive bonus episodes, plus early releases and the top secret case files sent straight to your inbox.
Or for just $1 a month, we'll make you an Astro intern. No compensation per se, but hey, you'll gain valuable detective experience and that warm fuzzy feeling knowing you're helping us keep the lights on.
So if you like what we're doing and want to support us, head over to patreon.com/astrodetectives and join the investigation today. Welcome back, everybody. We are here with our guest this week, Nica. Welcome to Astro Detectives.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We always start with, where are you joining us from today?
I'm in upstate New York.
Okay. Have you always been an East Coaster?
Yes.
All right. Do you I don't know, do you relate to that area? I don't know. It's cold there, right? I'm in sunny California, so I'm always
God,
asking,
I'm so jealous.
what is winter like over there?
Terrible. It's really bad. The worst was when I lived in Connecticut because I was like a mile from the ocean. So you would come out and find your car like covered under 6 inches of ice. And I only lived there for a year, but I had never seen anything like that in my life.
Well, it's a good day. It's a good time of year to be on a podcast from inside your home.
Very true.
Do you have certain climates that you prefer?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, fall in upstate New York. So whatever you would consider that climate, I know that's not like a geographically consistent climate by any means, but October in upstate New York is really the most beautiful time of year I've ever seen anywhere.
And what do you love about it?
It's such a vibe. Like, I love spooky season in general. For me, that starts like the first day of September and goes to the first day of November. It's a whole season for me. Um, it's so, it's hard to explain if you haven't been in upstate New York in the fall, but the sky has such a mood to it. Um, I don't know. It's just hard to explain. You feel like you're kind of almost in another time in another era.
The air is like electric, right?
Yeah, it really is, and everything is so beautiful with the leaves changing and falling. Yeah, it's just really nice.
Yeah, Sarah's an East Coaster as well.
Oh,
I
I'm from Connecticut, but I live in Texas now.
oh my God, that's a big change.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
I
What a
have yet
culture.
to see a leaf change. No, we had changing leaves in Texas. So, what do you do career-wise? And then we'll get into, I don't know, and what kind of drew you to it?
Yeah, I work for a tech startup in relationship management. So it's primarily sales, but there's also some customer service involved, things like that.
So you're working with the customers
Mhm.
and making sure that they're getting a good experience with the company.
Exactly. My job essentially is to help the customer develop operational dependence on our product so that they can't even think of canceling. So that's really ultimately my goal.
I want to make sure you can never leave us.
Yes. Yeah. No, exactly. Maintaining annual recurring revenue. Yeah, that's what I do. You nailed it.
Um, what do you think drew you to that, or what do you like about it? You feel good at your job, and maybe what
Yeah.
are some of the qualities that when you feel like, oh, I'm really in the zone, I'm doing what I was meant to do.
When I really feel in the zone is when I'm explaining very highly technical concepts to very low tech customers in a way that they understand. So they feel heard, they feel understood, they feel like I'm meeting them where they are in terms of their level of expertise. And I'm taking very high level concepts and breaking them down so that they're very simple, so that the customer can not only understand but remember. And that helps them understand the value of our product, why they're using it, why they need it. But it also helps them feel more comfortable with us as a company and as individuals because they understand that we see them as people and we're talking to them as a person, not just a number or a dollar sign.
And then if there is a place where you're maybe a little uncomfortable or something that you struggle with career-wise or at work, like, oh, this is the hardest part of the job for me, or something like that. Is there a part of it where you have to do it, but it's definitely not what you're best at or what you enjoy most?
Anything to do with math. I'm terrible at math. My last role was more sales heavy than relationship management and customer success. And there was a lot of like complex quotes and pricing negotiations. And I was just way out of my depth. Just so bad at that. So bad.
So if you're, yeah, explaining the pricing to them and it's like, and then we're going to add 20% off here,
And
and I
then
have
you have to add 7% taxes in there. And like,
no
I'm
idea
already
what that's going to
lost.
be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Mhm.
Um, growing up, what did you want to be? And is there any sort of like career trajectory that got you to here, if you were to follow the steps?
Yeah. Growing up, I always thought it would be cool to be a spy, like an international spy. I thought that would be pretty neat. How did I end up here? A lot of my family, almost all of my family, is in sales of some type. But my uncle, that I'm the closest with, who had the greatest influence over my life, has worked in technology pretty much my whole life. And I saw him not only be very successful, but he was able to take care of my grandparents financially in a lot of ways and provide for them, pay their house off, and things like that. So I just looked at him and I said, you know what? I want to be just like him and provide for the people that I love the same way.
Just by tech being the industry or sales specifically?
Sales specifically, he's more on the hardware side. I've been more on the software side.
Hmm.
But yeah, still tech.
Were you kind of like earlier in life, like were there salesy qualities to you? Were you negotiating in the lunchroom or working
I got
out
my
deals?
Yeah, I got my first job at 14, and I was telemarketing, so I wasn't in the tech space yet. And then I got my next job at about 16 or 17, and that actually was in the tech space, but it like something that's age appropriate. I was essentially selling cell phones in like our retail space.
Mm. Now, for a kid to want to be a spy, that's a pretty unique goal. What do you think gave you that idea?
I don't know. I think I always knew that I was somebody who could kind of move around spaces unnoticed if I didn't want to draw attention to myself. But people also always would just tell me things. Like I don't really try to ask people like deep things about themselves. I don't want to pry or probe, but people will just confess things to me or trauma dump a lot. And that started at a really young age. And I think I just realized I had the skills or ability to do something like that, to move through spaces without calling attention to myself, but also get information out of people that I wasn't even necessarily looking for or interested in.
Whoops, I got the nuclear codes from Russia.
Didn't even have to honeypot anybody for it.
Do you enjoy people watching?
Now I don't. Now as an adult, I don't like to be around people. I just want to be in my own space. But I think there was a time where, yeah, it's more about human behavior. Human behavior in general is just baffling to me. When people behave bizarrely, I want to know why. Where did that come from? Like, where did that start? How did you become who you are? So I think it's more about that than people watching per se.
Okay.
Yeah, you did say that on the survey, which we appreciate you filling out, that do you get enough alone time? Not enough. You wish you had more.
Never enough.
Never
Yeah.
enough. um, what was it? There was one thing that was very interesting because on some of the questions there would be polar, what seemed like opposites. So maybe we can like hash some of them out. Um, the appearance, it was like how much time do you spend kind of on personal grooming appearance was an 8 out of 10, which is relatively high. Like, but then how do you feel about your appearance most of the time? Yeah, I don't think about it much. It isn't a big focus for me. Can you kind of like just on, you're not thinking about it all the time, but you do feel like you kind of want to put some effort into it?
I guess maybe a lot of the things that I do are unconscious. Like I'm not even really paying attention as I go. Once I hit 40, I did have to do certain things to make me feel like I still looked the age that I feel. But if you were to show up at my house on any given day and knock on the door, like I probably haven't even showered yet. Like if I'm not gonna see anybody, which is most days, because many days I get to work from home and weekends I really don't do anything. I just like to be alone. You're just gonna find me in sweatpants. So I don't know if that kind of answers your question. If I'm sorry, that
Yeah.
was if I have to be somewhere, I'll try to look presentable, but I'm not trying to attract attention. I just want to feel good about myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that was an interesting line of I want to look the age that I feel.
Yeah.
And that's different than I want to be so attractive so that everybody stops and looks at me kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Like I got gray hair coming in and it's premature gray hair and I don't want people to think I'm like this old man because deep down I feel so youthful. But
I
the
totally get that.
the gray hair is betraying me.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that.
Another one that was interesting is you described your social circle as being very large. Like I know everyone. Also, and you've kind of alluded to it already, being liking alone time. But another question was, your level of comfort in social situations where you don't know anyone, and that was more uncomfortable. So having
Yeah.
a large social circle, but being kind of like uncomfortable around strangers. I jokingly said to Sarah, the way to get comfortable around strangers is to know everyone. So I don't know if that's the
That's true.
strategy, but can you kind of walk us through that a little bit?
I've noticed myself compared to other people, I've just managed to hang on to a lot of friends, even going back to like kindergarten, first grade, even before. Like I have two best friends right now. One we met, I mean, her nanny was best friends with my grandma. So we were introduced to each other at like 6 months old and 1 month old. And we're still best friends to this day. And then my other best friend has been my best friend since sixth grade. So a lot of these people I've met in different spaces, elementary school, middle school, church I went to here, a job I worked with there. And I find that even if we go a long time without seeing each other or speaking, when we do meet, we just pick up right where we left off. So I do feel like I have this large social circle, even if I don't see them all the time. And they're all very different. They all come from very different walks of life, But if you were to text me on a typical Saturday night, like I'm home alone with my cat.
Well, and
And
I like that your personal quote is "Leave me alone."
I don't want to be perceived. Like, don't look at me.
I can relate to that.
Work is
and
different. It's easier for me when there's a business case for me to speak to people. Like I can get up in front of a crowd and run a training on technology. When there's not a business case, when you're dropping me in a party and I just have to talk to people, like, oh my God, please don't do that to me.
yeah, sometimes it's hard to know where a conversation's going. And that's the most uncomfortable part for me of striking up a conversation with a stranger is how long is this going to take? Because once you crack open the top on this baby, it's going to be awkward to try and end it.
Yeah, or even continue it. And like I said, people just tell me things and it's like, I met you 30 seconds ago. Like, why do I know everything about your divorce? Do you know what I mean?
Well, they're telling you those things, and maybe because you're not asking, you just have this. Well, she doesn't seem to care about my life, so therefore I can safely tell her anything.
I think it's because people seem to sense that I'm non-judgmental and like I don't judge you for getting divorced or for smashing in your husband's windshield. Like I don't judge you for that at all. I just don't necessarily want to hear your whole life story if I just met you 30 seconds ago. But I certainly don't judge you for the things that you're telling me. People seem to pick up on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that would be interesting conversation though. Like I wouldn't be trying to get out of that one. You smashed the windshield of your husband's car? Tell me more. I am I am in for this conversation.
It depends on the context and how safe the person feels. If they're radiating crazy energy, like no way. It
That
depends on the person.
that's a good point. That's a
Yeah.
problem that if I'm feeling drawn to crazy conversation. I need to find somebody that wants to talk about gardening. So, of these friends, if we were to have them on the show right now and they were asked to describe you, what are some things that you think might come up?
Think it would really depend on the friend because my friends are all so different. I feel like they bring different things out of me or we bond over very different things. I think if you talked to my two best friends, probably they would tell you that I'm very non-judgmental. They would tell you that I'm very caring to my own detriment. They're constantly trying to encourage me to set boundaries and not let people take advantage of me or walk all over me. Whereas I feel like I'm showing the appropriate amount of empathy to people. They're the first to tell me it's too much. And that's kind of how they've described me to others. I think other friends would describe me as, maybe a little nerdy, particularly where we share nerdy interests. Like I'm a big Trekkie. I think it would mostly just depend on who you were to ask.
Hmm. Can I back up to that last one that you feel like you have maybe too much empathy?
I
And
feel I showed the appropriate amount of empathy.
right. But the friends would say that you might have too much empathy, and that's interesting for, wanting to be more isolated. Is it almost like protecting yourself because you have such strong feelings when you come in contact with people?
I think I've just been through a lot. We had a pretty serious trauma in our family about 3 years ago, and we're kind of still dealing with it. And it's been ongoing. And I just learned like people can be vile, and I just am so exhausted from that experience. I think that that's really kind of what drove me. I've always enjoyed alone time and been an introvert. Like I grew up an only child, although I did find siblings later in life as an adult. But I just, there were no kids on my street. I'm accustomed to my own company. I'm very comfortable in it. But that experience really drove me to like, oh my God, please everybody just get away from me. Like I can't deal with this. But if somebody is in front of me, like, and they have a need, they have a problem, of course I want to help or at least listen. Like I feed the stray cats in my neighborhood. I try to find them homes if I can. Like any way that I see a problem where I can plug a hole, like I want to do that if I can.
Interesting. Okay. One more question before I hand it over to Sarah, where she gets into some specifics. Um, some hobbies, just whether, music, TV, film, books, just activities that you like to do, whether it's alone or it's with other people. What kind of comes to mind?
Uh, so that trauma that I mentioned in our family, like really since then, I'll be honest, I really don't do much of anything but like hide out. My family and I do some activism work stemming from that. But prior to that, I used to model. My friends and I did a lot of urbexing. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's like exploring abandoned areas or abandoned buildings. That was really fun and exciting and adventurous. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Um, Trying to think. I did enjoy going out. My friends and I would go out to dinner quite a bit. Not so much like bars and clubs. I don't like loud spaces. I go to basketball games. I get free tickets from work, so that's nice.
Nice.
Mhm.
Uh, Within what you're comfortable, are you able to speak to maybe what just the category that this event was, or in any more specifics, but whatever you're comfortable with,
Yeah.
since it did have such a big impact on your life, it sounds like.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, my 14-year-old niece was murdered, and
Oh,
Mm.
it was, obviously really horrible. We've done a lot of activism work as a family since then because it took us 2.5 years to get an arrest, and we don't want anybody else to go through that. Um, Her parents tried to get her help and involve the police and get this boy away from her, well before he did this, and nobody took it seriously. So a lot of our activism work centers around the fact that domestic violence can happen to anybody, even kids as young as 14. Children that you wouldn't think would go through interpartner violence still do. So a lot of the work that we do centers around that. But because this kind of thrust us into the spotlight, it was particularly brutal. I mean, I've done interviews on Inside Edition, In Touch Weekly. Perez Hilton wrote about my niece's case. It was published in newspapers as far away as Pakistan and Scotland. We've had a lot of people come out of the woodwork who have opinions, who want to blame us for what happened, who have levied threats, called my sister-in-law's job trying to get her fired, shown up at my brother's job. Just a lot of really horrible things, just spread crazy rumors. And a lot of it is just a sense of entitlement. Like these people think that now that they know we exist, that they've heard about us and we're kind of in the public eye, that they're entitled to get online and just say insane things and that we should care what they think. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, I don't even respect you. Why would I give a shit what you think about me or my brother or my sister-in-law? Like, and that's a lot of where that, like, just leave me alone. Just, I don't want to deal with any of you people. I don't want to deal with anything. Like, just let me be in my space with my cat who doesn't act like an ass like the rest of you people do. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Completely. But it's 2.5 years is a long time. Is there any, I mean, I'm sure there were reasons why it took so long, but if you, maybe if somebody's in a situation like that, is there any advice that looking back you can give that, the best way to go about, getting justice or,
That's a great question.
yeah.
Great question. Initially, this was my brother's daughter. So his plan was, I'm going to give the police a year and not pressure them and not say a whole lot. And I think that was reasonable. And then when the 1 year mark came and went and they did nothing, we really ramped up the pressure. I made a public Facebook page sharing information about Samantha's life, her story, her case. And I think that kind of made the cops go, oh shit, we can't just sweep this under the rug and ignore it. I think that they hoped that they could do that. And they have a record and a history of doing that, this particular police department. We started doing interviews. I'd been on a couple of podcasts, true crime podcasts talking about her case. And that public interest and the public pressure increased public scrutiny on the DA and the PD. And I think that that's ultimately what forced their hand to act.
And
I
that
would
just,
recommend it to anyone.
and that just meant investigate. That just meant spend a little more time and figure it out.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, figure out, they knew who did it. It wasn't a secret. We all knew her ex-boyfriend, lured her out of the house and he strangled her and he threw her in the Mohawk River. And it took us 3 months to find her body. That was not like we knew. But because of the state she came out of the water in, there wasn't physical evidence on her body that could tie him to the case. So they wanted to just go, oh, this will be too hard. Why take it to court? We don't have a smoking gun. So, and we weren't satisfied with that.
Mm-hmm. And then if someone notices a situation where there is I don't know, you all said that maybe we were trying to make authorities aware that this guy might be a problem. Mm-hmm. If someone notices that kind of a situation, what action would you recommend? What is the steps that somebody can take if they're, it's not quite a crime yet, but I feel like this is not headed in a good direction?
I think being as relentless as possible. You know, my brother went to the school, he went to the principal, he went to the superintendent, he called CPS, he called the police, he tried to get a restraining order on my niece's behalf. He was rebuffed. Um, I think at some point, it didn't occur to him to take it to the media at that point, but I think that might have helped. Um, I hate to say like he should have maybe moved away, but it could have helped to put that physical distance there. Anything that you think you can do, but just don't continue with life as normal. Like be as relentless as possible and try to get as many eyes on the situation as you can.
Did did you happen to watch the show that came out on Netflix last year? It got a bunch of awards called Adolescence.
No, I haven't heard of that.
It centers around the murder of I don't know exactly what age they were, but an incredible show that looks at a lot of different aspects of it. I don't know if it might be too
Wow.
close to home, but
It's worth watching, I think.
yeah, I think it got all of the awards
Oh
last year.
wow.
No, it did well. And it was the big thing is it was shot all in one shot. Every episode was literally one take for almost an hour.
Oh,
So you really
okay.
feel like you're in the situation
That's
and
interesting.
all of the people that are involved.
I
And
definitely
yeah,
want to check it out.
and how many people are affected by something like that happens? Like it
Yes.
just radiates and creates a change in so many people's lives.
Oh, it really does. It really does. Just looking at my niece's friends and the trajectories that they were on before we lost her, and then how everything changed. So some of them going to different schools or wanting to be homeschooled. Just yeah, yeah. Especially looking at the children, it's just it's hard to see the impact that this has had on them.
Hmm. This actual last question. If you were to look at the last 12 months for you, is there a certain theme that you feel like you've been focused on, or you've noticed more change or more development, or anything, an area of your life maybe over the last 12 months that has been more prominent?
Yeah, I think, we got the arrest in May. And then when that happened, it was like a switch flipped. So for 2.5 years, I was just grinding, grinding, grinding. I mean, I wasn't sleeping, like I was up all night working on this. Um, and then once he was arrested, like I think that day I called a therapist, and then I made a doctor's appointment to get on meds. And my friends had been telling me like, you're caring too much. You need meds, you need therapy. And I didn't want to hear it. I just wanted to focus on my family and getting justice for my niece. But the focus since we got that arrest in May has been like healing, self-care, trying to repair everything that broke in me over the last 2 years because the trial hasn't come up yet. And so I feel like I'm in the eye of a hurricane, and I need to make myself healthier and stronger so that I can get through that trial and face the public and face the media again.
Yeah, like putting your air mask on before helping other, making yourself available
Exactly.
now. Sarah, how are you doing over there?
I'm good. I'm good. Wow. I'm sorry about everything that you're having to go through.
I appreciate
That's a
it.
lot.
It's been intense. It's definitely been an intense time for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you some random questions.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. What is your type of sense of humor? What kind of movies or shows or books or whatever do you find funny?
I think anything that feels familiar, like anything that I've seen over and over 100 times, I want to watch it 100 more times. Um, because it's like a comfort thing. I really enjoy shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine that are silly, Saturday Night Live, stuff like that. So that's my humor, I would say, as far as entertainment goes. I enjoy stand-up comedy. As far as my humor, like interpersonally, I'm very sarcastic, and to me, that's sarcasm is funny.
Okay. Um, are you naturally like a shy person when you walk in the room?
I don't know if shy is the right word. People averse might be more accurate.
Okay.
That's the difference between a shy person might be, I guess, worried that they're going to be judged, and a people averse person might walk in and not talk for because they don't want to talk to they're not interested in the other person.
Like I don't care what people think of me. I talking to people is it can be very draining, and it can also be very overstimulating, and I don't like to be overstimulated, and I don't like to be drained, and I really don't like to have those two things come together.
Hmm.
So I would say it's not like so much a feeling of shyness. It's like oh God, do I have to be here? And is somebody going to talk to me, or can I just sit in the corner and get through this until it's over?
So when you get overstimulated, how do you react?
I really just like withdraw and I want to try to get away as soon as possible. Whatever the thing that's overstimulating me is, I'll try to shut it down. So if it's sound, I usually have earplugs in my purse. If it's light, hopefully I have sunglasses nearby and I can reach for them. Really kind of depends on the environment and if I'm obligated to be there or if I can just leave immediately.
What are your pet peeves?
Stupid people who are very confident in their stupidity. You know what
Oh
I
my,
mean? Like people who are really dumb, but they think that they're really right. Um, we've dealt with a lot of people in our family since my niece's situation who make up the beginning, the middle, and the end of a scenario and act like they cracked the case. Like, few things in life piss me off more than that kind of person.
Mm.
people who are confidently wrong. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, preach.
Yes, right. And my thing is like I consider myself like reasonably intelligent, but I don't assume I'm the smartest person in every room, and I don't assume I'm fully informed on anything I've developed an opinion on. So if somebody wants to share information, it's like sure, by all means, like educate me, tell me what you know that I may not know. And then when you meet people who are just totally incorrect, they won't entertain any other opinions, like, oh my God, that's a pet peeve.
Gotcha. Are you romantically involved?
No.
Single? Okay. Have you ever been like married or anything like that?
No, I've never been married, I've never had kids.
Okay. Is that something you would like?
I'm open to the idea of marriage. Is having one other person in my space at all times like seems kind of stressful. I've never even fully like lived with a person, even if I've had a boyfriend or I stayed with them frequently. I still maintained my own apartment. But children has always been off the table. I actually got my tubes removed maybe 6 or 8 years ago.
Okay. Um, okay. Have you, um, let's see. What's my next question? Some of these, I'm just going through my list and oh, she already answered that one. Okay. Can I ask you about your health? Is there anything you can share that you've experienced health-wise? And this can range from everything from like surgeries or car accidents to a sprain or, tennis elbow anything.
Yeah, I was reasonably healthy up until 2009. I was in a car accident, and then it was kind of like a switch flipped. I developed a lot of autoimmune symptoms, chronic pain. Things were really bad for a long time until I started to get some diagnoses. So I've been diagnosed with a few autoimmune conditions and fibromyalgia. I've had to make a lot of diet and lifestyle changes, but I'm in much better shape now, thank God, than I was, you know, even 10, 15 years ago. I was in significantly more pain. I've had to shrink my life quite a bit. Like a lot of times when I'm not at work, I'm lying down. But I didn't have a big social life as far as like activities and going out anyway. So I don't miss out on that. But like, I do wish I could spend a little more time like cleaning the house before crashing. You know what I mean?
I can't quite remember. What is fibromyalgia?
It's not an autoimmune disease because it doesn't have any autoimmune markers, but it is a chronic condition. It's generally regarded as progressive, but that doesn't necessarily always have to be the case. But it's generally a chronic pain condition. So if you think of like when people say things like, oh, it's all in your head, this is the opposite. It's all in your body. So you have nerves throughout your body sending signals to your brain saying, I'm being stabbed, I'm being punched, I'm being set on fire. And you're like, why? Nothing is happening, but I feel like I'm being stabbed in the leg. It's just your nerves are just firing off chronic pain constantly. Um, and then it comes with a constellation of other symptoms, chronic migraines, insomnia, but constantly feeling exhausted, chronic fatigue, muscle spasms that are very painful, just all sorts of things like that.
Okay. And are you open to sharing what the autoimmune things were?
So I've been diagnosed with PCOS and Raynaud syndrome. And then we've been looking at hypothyroidism. The labs are kind of all over the place with that. So it's been a little hard to pin down.
I'm sorry, what was the second thing with an
Ray-
R?
Raynaud syndrome, it's a connective tissue disorder.
Connective tissue. How do you spell it? Do you know?
Renauds.
Okay. Um, And so hypothyroid is the that's a neck gland. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then PCOS
Polycystic ovary syndrome, they kind of go together, but that's essentially like a hormone disorder.
with the ovaries.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing all that. And okay, was there anything else that you had mentioned, or that was like that's the bulk of it?
That's most of it. I mean, I have some other things like chronic migraine, sleep apnea, like nothing too exciting.
It's all helpful. Even the sleep apnea. Do you have trouble? So do you have trouble breathing with your airways or something?
Yeah, I have a deviated septum.
Okay. Um, let's see. Have you ever had any issues with your stomach or feet?
I have GERD and I'm on medication for that. Um, nausea has, I've kind of dealt with like bouts of chronic nausea, but it'll, go away for years and then kind of come back. I kind of consider that a stomach issue. No, I think my feet have generally been okay. I can't really think of anything.
Okay. Um,
Good feet. That's
Good
good.
okay.
feet. The
I
Raynaud syndrome does affect the feet. I should probably say that.
And sorry, the GERD thing, is that a acid or something? I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, it's essentially acid reflux. It's
Okay.
your stomach acid doesn't want to stay in your stomach. It wants to come up and say hi all the time.
Mhm. Okay.
So you have to like sleep a little bit elevated, right? So it doesn't
Yeah,
creep back up into your throat. Yeah.
yeah. Like, take some meds to kind of make your stomach a little bit more basic and watch what foods you eat so you don't trigger it, stuff like
No
that.
no spicy foods, huh?
I'm not supposed to, but I still do. I love
Uh,
spicy foods.
I
Okay.
I would like to sprinkle in the is are there any like self-care routines or habits that you've adopted that have been especially helpful for you? This could be anything from meditation to, workouts or even, any whatever you've introduced to your life.
Laying off gluten and dairy has been huge. My chronic pain, I can't even tell you how much worse it was before I realized that those things were triggering me. I do still cheat. I certainly pay for it. But those are big things. Also, resting, just pacing myself. It took me years to figure that out. But like, if I clean the house for let's say 3 hours, I can't just go for 3 hours straight like I used to. It's every half hour or so, I need to take at least 10 to 15 minutes to just sit and rest. Otherwise, I could be bedridden for up to a couple days afterwards. You really have to be judicious with how you spend your energy.
And listen to your body, I guess. How tired am I? Do I have another hour in me? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Building in recovery days too is important. Like if I go to a basketball game on a Saturday, I'm not doing anything on Sunday. I'm mostly just laying down trying to recover so that Monday when I go to work, I'm in a good headspace. Like if I have to do a thing on a weekend, I can do that one thing. I can do no other things.
Okay. Sorry, I was using that time to just Google a couple things because I
Oh
wanted
yeah,
to
no
make sure.
problem.
Just the fibromyalgia, is
Mhm.
that stem, do they know what the source of, is that like a chemical in the, is that start with the brain sending signals, or you said it was nerves? I'm trying to understand I know you experience it all over your
Yeah,
body,
like the
but
mechanism of action. So I mean, there's a hereditary component, and my mother does have it as well. And then several other people on my mother's side, the women have all had various forms of chronic pain conditions. I didn't think it would hit me. Typically by the time they're in their late 20s, they experience it. And then it did happen to me as well. But then also, usually there's some sort of like a trauma that kind of flips a switch. So the idea is that there's genetic loading, but it doesn't necessarily turn on for everybody. And I think for me, that trauma was that car accident in 2009. It just flipped the switch and it was kind of all downhill from there.
do you know the exact date offhand of the car accident?
I could find that out. I want to say it was about 14 days after my grandfather died. I just don't remember the exact date he died.
You can estimate, it's okay.
It
Like a
it probably would have been like the second or third week in May if I had to guess of
And
2009.
2009. Okay. All right. Sorry, that might help. Okay. I'm kind of wrapping up. I feel like let me just see if I had any other questions we talked about.
Well, is there anything that we didn't get into that you feel like are important to your life, your story, that we're leaving any large sections unchecked?
I would say if you're going through my birth chart, like I don't know how far back you go, but for me, 2009 and 2019 were big turning points in my life. They both kind of kicked off like periods that were traumatic for an extended duration of time that I really felt like I had to just grit my teeth and like survive through. Um, and I felt like life was a lot harder for me during those years compared to my peers. So I don't know how far back you go, but I think that that's something that you might see
Actually,
looking
I
around.
was going to ask you about your spirituality because you actually said a lot of interesting things about that on your survey. Can you speak to that? Because you kind of gave some, you were saying, well, I'm one thing, but I also have interest in other things.
Yeah, I mean, I was raised born again Christian. I do have a lot of those beliefs, not like the evangelical crazy people, but like Jesus flipped tables when he saw injustice kind of Christian. Like that's how I am. But I also have always kind of had this fascination with the occult, mysticism, mediumship, tarot cards, any of the things that I was told were against our religion and not to mess with. I just have always been really fascinated by the idea of magic, spells, witchcrafts, things like that have just been of interest to me.
Okay. All right. Okay, I think I'm good.
All right, all right.
Mhm.
What we do now, Nica, is we put you in the waiting room. Then Sarah and I are going to have a little conference, make our decisions, and then we'll bring you back in and see if we're right or if we're not.
Cool. All right. I'm excited.
All right, we'll see you in a bit.
All right. Thanks.
Sarah,
Yes.
what do we got?
What do we got? Um, I feel I'm definitely leaning pretty much one way. Um, but I'm always whenever I feel very like, oh, it feels like that chart and it feels obvious, I'm always like looking at the other one like how could it be that one? Could it work? I was trying to ask some questions. So, but I don't know. Either I'm gonna feel
It could go
validated or
one of two ways.
yeah, as usual. But
You're either going to be right or we're going to be wrong.
yeah. What about you?
Or she's going to be neither. I had a pretty strong feeling pretty early on, and
Hmm.
I'm sticking with it.
Okay, same.
Great.
Okay.
We're probably on the same page. Last time I guessed that I was wrong, but now I feel more confident that we're on the same page.
Okay.
Which means I'm either going to put an end to my losing streak or Sarah's going to start her losing streak.
Okay, yeah, that's what that means. Okay.
All right, ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. She felt very Scorpio to me.
All right, we were choosing between the Scorpio and the Pisces. It's
And
funny when she talked
already,
about being spiritual at the end, I was like, that could go one or two ways. You could be like mysticism, the occult, dark Scorpio, or you could think like, oh, tarot, astrology, she's living that spiritual Pisces life, you know? Like,
yeah.
I could see it, I could make it work either way. But I felt like the way that she was describing things, I thought she identifies with Scorpio energy to me. We'll find out before we get too confident. Hopefully, everybody has made their decisions at home. Pause the podcast if you don't want any spoilers, because we are going to bring her back and find out if we're right after this. Hey listeners, we're not just a podcast that tests astrology, we're an independent detective agency. That means we rely on you to help us keep the show running.
Exactly. By joining AstroDetectives on Patreon, you can support our mission to finally prove astrology is real.
Or, completely debunk it.
Here we go again.
One thing we can agree on, AstroDetectives is the only place you'll find astrologers and skeptics working together, like a buddy cop movie you didn't know you needed.
And trust me, detective work takes time, gathering evidence, late-night stakeouts, solving cases, especially when Mercury's retrograde.
Okay, you can't blame Mercury.
The first step is easy and free. Just follow Astro Detectives on Patreon to get access to our debrief episodes where the conversation continues after each case ends. We break down what went right and what went wrong.
And if you want to fast-track your training, become a rookie detective for only $3 a month. You'll unlock exclusive bonus episodes, plus early releases and the top secret case files sent straight to your inbox.
Or for just $1 a month, we'll make you an Astro intern. No compensation per se, but hey, you'll gain valuable detective experience and that warm fuzzy feeling knowing you're helping us keep the lights on.
So if you like what we're doing and want to support us, head over to patreon.com/astrodetectives and join the investigation today. Welcome back, everybody. Sarah and I are on the same page. We chose the same birth chart out of the two that we had, and we're either both going to be really happy or this is going to be a long debrief episode figuring out what happened.
That's funny.
Nica, this is the part where the pressure's off. You answered all these questions so well. The pressure is on us and the audience, anybody that has made their choices at home. We were choosing between a Scorpio and a Pisces. Those are the two sun signs of the two charts. So hopefully you're one of those. Oh, good. I'll be asking based on what we chose, but there may be some people at home that went the other direction and maybe have the opposite reaction that we have. All right, Nica, are you a Scorpio?
Yes.
There we go.
I felt like it was pretty obvious, but you never know that. Yeah.
But stellium, the Scorpio stellium doesn't lie.
Yeah.
What's funny is we had a double Pisces on the other chart. The sun and moon were double Pisces. So we had double Scorpio and double Pisces.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
With a Cancer rising, and they can be pretty feisty. So, that's why I was just trying to really, but I just felt all the Scorpio coming at you.
And we break down our decision and how you relate to your chart and the bonus episode, the debrief, which is available on Patreon. Nica, before we end this episode, is there anything that you want to plug or leave our audience with, whether it's advice or some place that you'd like them to go? Just leave me alone.
Don't fuck with the Scorpio. Revenge is a dish best served by me.
I always want to, whenever I ask, tell our audience where to go, I feel like the Scorpio is going to be they can go to hell. That's what they can do.
This is somebody recently talking about the situation of these people that have been harassing us, and I was told, be the bigger person, and I said, I will never be the bigger person. We can all go to hell.
I will take you with me.
I will drag you there by your ankle. I will. I have no problem with that.
And I'll enjoy it down there. I'm fine.
Yep, that's my home.
All right. Well, that's it, everyone. Let us know what you thought by commenting on whatever platform you follow us on. Links to our accounts are in the show notes. As always, thanks to Mike, our IT guy, and his random chartifier thingy for helping me get it right this week. If you like the show and want to support it, you can visit patreon.com/astrodetectives, where this conversation continues on the free Patreon-only debrief. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube so you don't miss the next episode. Rate and review and tell your friends. And until next time, this case is closed.